PlayStation 5 Pro finally announced, $700. Is it worth it? I don't know. I've not watched this yet. Let's watch it together.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest edition.
Let me move my beautiful visage. I wouldn't want to ask Mark to do that because he's Mark Cerny. Have I met Mark Cerny? I have. Nice guy. Savanti. Doesn't match well with my ADD. I've said this before. I don't think he liked me. He seemed fine, but I don't know. It's a different video. Nice guy. I got nothing against Mark Cerny. I had lunch with him once. I feel like Trump. I lunched with him once, and then that was it. I don't think I was very memorable to his brain, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I think he just, he's one of those guys, real smart guy, sees the world a specific way.
I'm Mark Cerny.
Hi, Mark Cerny.
PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5.
Oh my God, I already have a PlayStation 5. I don't need a fucking montage. I know what was in it. I loved it. I still play it. Get to the fucking meat of the show, bitch. My response is not to what he's saying like I don't care. It's just, it's technical. You think this is bad? Imagine me back in the God of War days sitting, listening to programmers explain to me why I couldn't have what I wanted. It was not fun for any of us.
And the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes.
I sit here in silence because I don't know. Listen to the last sentence. It's like no one talks like this. No one should talk like this. This is so scripted. This is an antiquated way of communicating to people. And I don't mean Sony. You're salty. No, just, any PR bullshit. Don't just, Mark, you're a smart guy. Just talk. And then have them edit it. Who talks? Listen to this.
The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
Think about that for a minute. 75% of the time, players will go with what feels better than what looks better. Gee, you think it's because fundamentally these are games? Maybe that's been telling developers and publishers something for a very long time, which is no matter what they say, no matter what the commercials look like, no matter how excited they say they are over amazing graphics, if you can get a controller in someone's hand and let them play, 75% of the time at least, they'll go with what makes the medium unique and special amongst all their mediums, which is the interactivity. Just a thought.
We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer.
Okay, but if I may, it's never ending, right? I mean, there's no reason, and maybe this will too. I haven't seen the whole presentation, but there's no reason to say that the PS5 Pro shouldn't have performance mode and graphics mode. Because what, you think the PS5 Pro is going to be like, oh, they're never going to want any more? It'll be the exact same thing. Run at 30 on, they may not be allowed to for, Sony requirements, but run at 30 on PS5 Pro and get amazing visuals, or run at 60 or 120 on PS5 Pro and get amazing visuals for the PS5, not PS5 Pro, but not the very, very best that they could do. I mean, it's not like this solves it. This just, puts another Band-Aid on the problem, which isn't really a problem, but it's framed as one, so I figure I'll respond as such.
To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways.
I'm here. I'm right here. My eyes are up here, buddy. Or my eyes are up here. Who's he looking at?
Here's what we call the Big Three.
Now he's looking at me. You're the big three.
But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects.
Hey, Mark. Does it make her less fat?
As well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys.
Oh, whoa. Was that peach fuzz? Now I can really see it, Mark. Best believe Mark Kern will be hearing about this. Grins.
Particularly
Look at his shirt.
focused on
What is that?
the fact
Is it denim? Like, you can really see the detail. Probably because of the 8 of the big 3. But what is that? Little it's like a, it could be anything. It's not denim, let's be clear. But it could be like silk, or in like, or it could be more like a burlap sack, sort of a potato.
Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
Oh my God. I mean, it looks great visually. It's a great noticeable upgrade to some extent. I mean, it's not like, oh my God, but it's good. Those games that he showed looked awesome. And I think if you have a PS5 Pro, you're going to be happy. Why would you not? It looks fantastic. I'd like to think that the games that remain on the PS5 normal, like GTA and Wolverine, are still going to be great, still run well, and I'm sure they will. Sony's not going to shit the bed with the vast majority of sales going to that console, and then they put out clunkers. So yeah, it's clearly, a job very, very, very well done. So cool. I mean, so if you're inclined to buy one, great. You're happy. I think the price point's ridiculous. But then again, if you don't already own one of these, I think they're probably going to drop the price of the PlayStation at Tokyo Game Show and bundle it with Astrobot. I could be wrong for the holidays. We'll see. They should for sure. Especially given the news today that Astrobot, at least preliminary reports coming in, is not selling that well, which has nothing to do with the game. It's a great fucking game. Has everything to do with the fact that it's, for most people, a brand new franchise, and it's not the kind of game they buy on PlayStation. So sweeten the pot, boys. Give it a shot to really become something special, because it deserves it. But if I cared a lot about visual, I mean, because there are those people I respect, I get it. They like the big TVs, the great sound systems. They put a lot of love and pride into that kind of, audio and video file aficionado presentation. And sure, why not? If you got the money, bump it up. What else is there to say, really? It's if you've never had a PlayStation and you're about to buy one and you can spring for the extra, go ahead, why not? But you guys know what I'm going to say. If you like to collect your games, ignore this next part. If you think streaming is the devil, ignore this part. But I really do beg you, if you were even slightly curious before you drop your ducats on this, and if you can wait, 6 to 12 months for a Sony game on PC, if you're considering this and you haven't done a test of GeForce Now, which is free, you can do like a sample test, and then you can buy a day pass just to see if you're close enough to a data center and if your internet is good enough. You might find yourself quite surprised. It's not like you have to have great internet like you have at the office, like commercial grade internet. This is consumer grade internet. It works beautifully. All the stuff they showed there, I already get. I'm playing everything turned up to 11 every time. NVIDIA at no real cost to me except a monthly subscription, which is $20 at the highest end, because I want the best computer to play off of. Every time they upgrade it with a graphics card, memory, update the game, servers, driver, whatever, I get the benefit of it without any of this, like, let me buy new hardware, and then 2 years later it's not the coolest hardware on the block anymore. You don't need a fancy computer. You can run it on an old potato. You can run it on, my son runs it on an old Airbook Mac. that he uses to play even Fortnite. He plays lag free as long as he's plugged in and he's wired. Check the specs, on the website to make sure. I'm sure there's some base limit, but it's like Netflix. You're basically just streaming it. You can stream it to your phone. You can stream it to a TV if it's a smart TV like Samsung. And you're getting graphics today that are better in some cases than what you're seeing in that demo on PS5 Pro. In a year or two, as the PS5 Pro begins to age, every year you're getting upgrades to the graphics cards and the GPUs, the CPUs, depending on the tier that you pay. I pay $20 a month for the ultimate tier, and you're always ahead of the curve. Again, it's not for everybody. I'm not trying to ram it down your throat. When I tell people, and a number of people are able to actually get the service as was designed, and they're surprised because they didn't think they could, they get it. And it's worth at least, if you're going to spend $800, $700 on a PS5 Pro, at least do a little bit of research. You might find yourself, like I said, pleasantly surprised. I know I have. As a note, PlayStation has yet to bring even their PC games to GeForce. I don't know if that's because ultimately they're preparing their own more robust streaming service for PS Now and for the PS Portal, which I imagine, but it would be the same thing. PS Plus streaming has always been good, but not as great yet as GeForce Now. But my guess is as they push the Portal, as they open up streaming on PC, which is the rumor, you'll eventually get to play your Sony first-party games once Sony brings them to PC. Hell, you may be able to play them if they bring streaming directly off the PS5, actually, on your PC or on your television without having a PlayStation 5. But don't be stubborn about it. Give yourself the opportunity, because all the stuff they just showed there, I'm not a technical guy. I can't say, no, you didn't have this AI pixel up-resing at the same resolution. Okay, sure. But nothing I saw there made me go, that looks better than when I played Avatar last Christmas on Ubisoft Plus on GeForce, Black Myth Wukong with everything turned all the way up. Star Wars Outlaws isn't as pretty as a lot of those games, but in terms of all those things, ray tracing was turned up to the moon and back. I'm just saying, if you're one of those people, give it a shot. You'll thank me if it works for you. But this is fine. If my PlayStation gives out, which it might, because I'm starting to see weird pixel things, but sure, I'll pick this one up. But yeah, I think it's cool. Looks, I have the same response to this that I had the PS4 Pro. So I don't know, $700. So if it's $500, it's $499, so it's $500. It's only $200 more, and you are getting a lot. So it's a pretty big asking price. But when you think about it compared to the $499 price of the current PS5, which is still ridiculously high at this point, the thing's been out for 4 fucking years. Come on now. There you go. There's the point where I'm supposed to say, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure you're going to let me know anyway. And I'd like to know, were you on the fence, or were you like, nope, I don't want this, stupid, or it's too expensive. It's nice, but it's too expensive. And have you been convinced by the Cerny presentation or something you've read, and now you're suddenly in the camp of, yep, I'll be getting this day one? Or are you still like, I'm not convinced? That I'm curious about. Be well, my knucklehead friends. Knuckleheads live in my pocket, and I take them out when I'm looking for quarters.